Hi everybody, welcome to week 3 of the course, and I'm going to reflect on what we did last week, which was you worked in small groups reflecting on the reading that you had done for your homework, and you'd been considering chapter from Lancashire and Noble, from Davis and Merchant, and you had also looked at a PowerPoint with sound talking about our digital literacies, new literacies. We then took quotations from those materials, and you discussed those and produced posters in groups, from which you had quite some interesting discussions. At the end of this video, I'll be sharing with you again the posters that you produced, and you can sort of look through in slow motion and pause at the posters. The ideas that you were talking about were one of the groups looked at digital natives and digital immigrants, and felt that those terms were really quite simplistic, and that we can't divide up the world into two groups according to age and say that one is really good at using technology and one is really poor. That there are different capabilities amongst all groups, but you certainly acknowledged that there was more of a facility and a more of a feeling of comfortableness, of comfort amongst the young in the ways in which they were using new technologies. You talked about how in academic institutions like schools and universities, that technology was used in different ways than they were in the home and in other spheres of people's lives, and that even teachers or instructors or lecturers were using technologies differently at their workplace than they were in other spaces of their lives. And part of this was to do with the kind of relationships that they are accustomed to, and the students or pupils themselves kind of feel more secure in those traditional organisations of the relationships with a hierarchical position. With the teachers and the lecturers on top, if you like, and kind of in charge of the interactions that take place in the classroom. Technology has the potential to democratise interaction, to break down boundaries of all kinds, and that sometimes teaching situations might not feel right to participants, to make them really democratic or evened out in some way, and that might explain one of the reasons why new technologies are not used in a kind of Web 2 sort of way within learning situations. Nevertheless, a lot of you acknowledge that learning does take place outside of institutions, academic institutions, and so you were talking a little bit about why that might be. Sometimes digital tools are used to prop up traditional systems, and you talked about the way in which new technologies sometimes work well to reinforce traditional curricula, to reinforce the timetable, and that it's actually sometimes quite difficult to use new technologies because it would mean that you could no longer follow the traditional curriculum. So all kinds of ideas that you talked about in your groups reflected in your posters, which were really very interesting indeed. This week, week 3 of the course, some of you are going to be going to Rob Pashley in the Diamond, looking at planning video, filming video and editing video, and the other half of the group will be with me talking about the content of the videos that you're going to be making, how you might go about that, and the ethical considerations that you might need to make in carrying out research and involving people in films. And also we're going to think about the assessment process involved in making videos. So that's it from me. Over to you now, because we're going to have a look at your posters on the rest of this video. Or is it that way? Not quite sure. On the rest of this video. And yeah, hope you enjoy looking at your posters. See you on Thursday.